Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Be Healed Web Show, where I am your host, Camille R. Perry, and I'm so grateful, so thankful to have you on with me on tonight. This is the day the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. The Be Healed Web Show, where there's grace in every story. So no matter where you are in your life, in your walk, in your journey, I promise you, the grace of God has been evident in your life, whether you are conscious of it or not. Come on to the Be Healed Web Show. Share what's been going on in your life. And I promise you, you'll find the grace of God in your life because that's just who He is. He's an awesome God, and we're so grateful. I'm honored on tonight. Like usual, I'll give some announcements, but I definitely want to respect my guest on tonight. Sometimes I think we forget just what is going on in our life. I think sometimes we get so caught up with the things of our life that we don't take the time to count our blessings. And so my friend and coworker, Kaylee, she shared with me, she was asking me about the web show. She was asking me about the seasons, and she asked me, how does everything work? And I was letting her know, hey, Shan, good evening. I was telling her like, yeah, been doing this since 2020. And she was like, well, do you take breaks? I was like, well, not really. Like before, I used to like cancel the show often if I didn't have a guest or if I just didn't feel like it. But then I stopped doing that. And she was like, so you're telling me, every week you're online, whether with a guest or without, like Camille. And when she started to say that, I was like, oh my God, you're right. And I think, hey, Jerry, good to see you. Can you tell Brother Henry I said hello? Okay, hugs and loves to you, Jerry. God bless you. That's my girl, man. That way back at a deco when they had an office at Verizon. So grateful for Jerry. So sweet, sweetest lady in Orange County, I promise you. But when Kelly was bringing this to my attention, it helped me to be under. It helped me to be under. To understand the depth of this, as well as to appreciate and celebrate the fact that the Lord has blessed me to meet some incredible people on this show. And tonight is not stopping. Tonight, I would say every guest that the Lord has blessed me to encounter and talk to, they have such might, such understanding. They have made such impact in life and in business and commerce and education. And I'm grateful for every giant who has come into this virtual place and opened up their life and shared with us on the Be Healed Web Show. I give God all of the glory for that. And so tonight, without further ado, God bless everyone tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. So happy to have you on tonight. I am grateful for the Dr. Ernest L Bridges. He's the doctor of words and biblical studies, religious studies, actually, has his PhD. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Dr. Bridges. This man, I got a chance to meet him through Dr. Von Lawson, another giant that I had on my show some time ago. But if you got a chance to see the Barbershop Talk series that we ran through in Black History Month, but Dr. Ernest Bridges, this man, in the years that God has blessed him on this earth, has done some tremendous things. So dedicated educator to the African American studies. He's not only left an indelible mark at Fullerton College. So if you ever went to, if Fullerton College is your alma mater, or Cal State Fullerton, he retired there as a professor. He definitely did more than just beyond the classroom. When I met him with Dr. Lawson, They have their own barbershop talk with a group of other men from across the nation that have such a wealth and breadth of experience and history, and they check in on one another because, we all need somebody. Listen, I love that. But check this out. If you're familiar with the Umoja program, if you are in the community college, the CCC, California Community College system, and you know about Umoja, you've heard about it, this is the godfather of the Umoja program. I'm blessed to have him on the show tonight. He's a father, he's a husband, he's a brother, not only a brother in Christ, but he is a brother of one of the finest and baddest fraternities. And we'll talk about that as we get into it. But here's some other facts about him. Not only has he mentored faculty as well as students, but when you think about Orange County, because where he's placed and built in Southern California as a whole, but for the 100 Black Men in Orange County, he sits on the advisory board. He's on so many programs. He's involved in the Western Regional Council for Black American Affairs. He's the president of the Southern California Council of Black African American Affairs. I mean, you name it, he has done it. And here's what I love when I asked him to be on the show. When I asked him to be a guest on the show, he said that he would be honored to. And so I'm always grateful when someone says yes to me. Y'all know that. So I was honored to have him, that he would be a guest. And when I asked him, what would you title this season? What would you title your story? And he said, still a work in progress. So listen, I hope y'all buckle up and buckle in, okay? Because we're going to go on a ride tonight for him to understand, with all the accomplishments and all the great things that God has blessed him to see, touch, and do, he still knows he's a work in progress. So can we welcome the one and the only, the incomparable, the godfather of the Umoja program and so much more, Dr. Ernest L. Bridges. Welcome.
Well, after that introduction, I think we just ought to close out right now. Just leave it be. But I want to thank you for the invitation to come on. When we first met, I have to admit I was very impressed with your spirit. It was so enlightening. I was looking for the halo around your head. But no, I'm serious because of the way you reached out to folk.
Thank you.
You're blessed with a gift.
Thank you.
Continue to use it.
Yes. I shall. For his glory, for sure.
Yeah,
I shall do it.
wonderful, wonderful.
Well, your I didn't get all into the resume, but I'm sure there's some meat on the bone. What would you, outside of your bio that is written and scripted, how would you describe your life? How would you pin or state your accomplishments, or what really mattered, what has mattered for you? How would you qualify that?
First of all, I was fortunately born into a household that was middle class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, only child.
Okay.
And of course, with that, depending on who you say, well, he's spoiled.
You're loved. That's what I like to say.
As well as loved.
Yeah.
And see, this is important for one to understand, because many of the blessings are on the other far, and the hardships that one has to go through, I was blessed not to have to.
Mm.
And so, first of all, when I really got this thing up here screwed on, I began to appreciate what I didn't have to go through.
Yeah.
See,
True.
and that makes, I think that's all a part of the maturing process.
Yes.
Is what you don't have in life, what you learn to value. Let me put it this way: what you
Mm-hmm.
learn to value in life first starts with appreciating what you don't have.
Right.
Because it's what you, if you respect that and guide yourself, then no matter how high you come up on the pathway of life, you always will be respectful of that.
Yes.
Always know from where you came, and first of all, to whom you belong.
That's right.
See, and I'm fortunate to have a mother and a father who would wouldn't hesitate to remind me that of that boy. So we're thankful for that experience. We're thankful for all of the things that we were able to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
I've more or less been what you would consider a slow learner.
Okay. Tell me more.
I have to admit that. Um, when I went to college, it took me more than a normal 4 years to graduate.
Okay.
And a lot of that had to do to say how you start is how you start is how you finish.
Mm-hmm.
And my freshman year at North Carolina A&T, uh,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
another I learned how to play bid whist,
Okay. That's a good game to play.
and you would find me doing exam time running bid whist tournaments.
That's not what they sent you down there to do, Dr. Bridges.
No, no, no. But I look at it now, as I look back on it, uh, I am appreciative of being able to come through there.
Mm-hmm.
But I also can look back at the what if
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
spent more productive time.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that, that is something that every now and then we
Yeah.
have to do a self inventory.
Absolutely.
Okay. It comes with the territory. So I graduated, went on and began to get into what I consider a productive life.
Mm-hmm.
And doing so, been able to, depending on whose measure, was reasonably successful
Okay.
over the years. Beautiful family, lovely wife of 50, going on 56 years.
Come on, 56 years. We're gonna talk about that in a minute too, because that's
We're still honeymooning.
come on, honeymooning in 56 years. Come on. That's what I'm talking. Chase her around the house. Chase
and, two,
her around.
and two beautiful boys
All right.
who gave me four beautiful boy grandchildren.
Okay.
We weren't able to have any girls,
It happens.
and I asked my daughter-in-laws, could but they said no, we're over with that. That's you have to take what you got,
Exactly. And be grateful.
and I'm grateful. A good thought there. My father passed 2 years before my first son was born.
Okay.
And I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, please bless me that I will be able to see
Mm.
a grandchild.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
gave me four.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
so
That's
you,
good.
there's a thing about keep it simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's I could hear Pastor Reginald Wayne Sharp saying he'll do more than I've ever expected. Just
Ever
when you
expect.
mentioned that prayer, want Lord, please let me see at least a grandchild, and God was like, "I'll do you one better." Like,
Yes, yes, yes,
you
yes,
know,
yes, yes. So
I think they trying to get a hold of you. They don't know.
well, that's it's what is it? It's Tuesday,
Uh-huh.
and we've been on the phone all afternoon,
Oh yes.
and so that there are probably some follow up thoughts, but it's all good though.
Yeah.
And you were talking about
Yes.
what
Because I
my
look, I don't. But
evolution of sort.
yes, because when you're because okay, when you mentioned that you were playing Bitwiz tournaments,
Hmm.
when you should have been in class, we
Hmm.
ain't gonna talk about that too
Yeah.
much. We ain't gonna we don't want nobody getting the wrong idea here. But I do have to ask you: was this before you crossed into Omega Land or during?
Before that was my
Okay,
freshman year.
but I'll say because listen, scholarship matters to Omega Psi-Phi. So I know you
Got
would
that
not
right.
have been
You got
doing
that
that.
right. You got
No.
that right. You got
So
yeah.
one of the things that I think is so amazing in all of your accomplishments. And okay, let me just go back because I'm getting really excited because you said something that I've been focusing on as I'm entering my 40th year of life come next month on the 24th, if the Lord allows me to see it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I said that I'm no longer going to focus on the isn't it of my life, but the is of my life. There's so, like, we all know what isn't happening for us. We all know what we don't have just yet or what we haven't experienced just yet. But I'm choosing to focus on what I do have and what has happened. And one of the things I thought was very profound, what you were saying, is that in gratitude, as you said, when your head got on straight, you started to realize to be grateful for what you didn't get or what you didn't encounter or even what you don't have in this very moment. And I thought how unique that is because sometimes we don't know how to be grateful. Like, okay, we might not be in the best of health, but we're not in an oncology unit. We're not in ICU. We're not in the morgue, right? So, you don't feel good, or you might not have what's the old song? You may not have a brand new Cadillac, diamond in the back, sunroof top, right? But be grateful for what you
What
do
they are. Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes. And
I
it,
think that's
it,
good.
it's so difficult when you're up to your behind in alligators to remember that.
Man,
Okay. And that's life.
yeah,
Because from day to day, you're going to encounter something
yeah,
that's going to be a challenge.
yeah,
And the more fortified you are
mm,
from within,
yeah.
not seeking from outside,
Come on,
but consulting inside
yeah,
where the spirit lies.
yes, yes.
You see, I often talk to folk, have you talked to yourself today? No, you're laughing. Think
No,
about it.
that's true. That's true.
If you don't get up in the morning and look in the mirror and have a good conversation with yourself about what you're going to accomplish today,
Yeah,
where's the day going?
yeah.
See, it begins there. What is the first thought in your mind? Well, let me put it this way. What's the last thought that you had when you closed your eyes? And the first thought
Mm,
when you woke up in the morning? I have this song, This is the Day.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what I wake up with in my heart, mind, and
Mhm.
spirit every morning. This is the day.
That's it.
It sets the tone.
It does. It does.
It sets the tone.
Yeah.
So it again, we have to remember to be very, very basic.
Mm.
Life is complicated enough without us making it more so.
Yes.
So let us understand, and this is why when we say biblically that we need to what we need to pray continuously,
Mhm.
study
Mhm.
a word continuously,
Mhm.
so that you can be fed, you know,
Yeah.
where you really need to be fed,
Right.
and
Right.
and that's here,
Right.
because what's outside of you is not going away.
No.
So the better you equip yourself to deal with it, the more you'll be able to survive. I was listening to, I knew it was oh, forgive me, Dick Gregory,
Okay. Yes.
one of his old clips,
Hmm.
and he was speaking about Steve, the Microsoft Apple man,
Oh, Steve Jobs.
who died at what 40 some years old.
I believe so. I think
Okay,
before
and
did you
he was a what, a multi-billionaire,
millionaire? Yeah.
and then he mentioned his uncle in St. Louis, 100 and some years old,
Hmm.
never earned over $20,000 in his life, and he's 101.
Wow.
Now, some people will say, "Well, what are you saying?" I'm saying again, as always, it's a choice,
Yeah.
not so much as to where you are, but how you're going to navigate where
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah. It is a choice. Yeah. You dropping some jewels. Um, I had to grab some pen and paper so I could take some notes. So I said, hold on, these are some jewels here. Fortify from within. Yeah, well, I love all of that. Have you talked to yourself today? Remember to be basic. Life is complicated enough. Let's-
Without you messing with it.
yeah, without you, come on. Yes, without you messing with it. Yes, I love that. But Dr. Bridges, one of the things that I thought expressed such humility of who you are is, as you're saying, at the tender age, I'll just flip it, at almost being 28 years old, in October when you say your birthday. We're gonna flip that thing around real quick. But for you to say that you are still a work in progress, what does that mean to you?
Well, let's look at some of the milestones. um, I graduated from college, married, and after a period of time, I decided to go back to school. My undergrad was in education,
Mm-hmm.
and then being in industry at the time, I decided to get an MBA.
Mm.
And at that time, you could count blacks on one hand,
Yeah.
literally, in this country with an MBA.
Yeah.
And many people at that time asked me, "Well, what are you going to do with it?" I said, "Literally." And I said, "I don't know, but I got it." And I say that because it did become useful
Mm-hmm.
in my work at that time. I was working for Abbott Laboratories out of North Chicago,
Okay.
and decided to go back to school
Mhm.
and get a business degree since my undergrad was in um, education. Later on, here I am uh, retiring. I had retired from California State University, Fullerton,
Mhm.
and still working at Fullerton College part time at that time. So I cut back on my
Mhm.
classes. And then I all of a sudden got the urge. I said, you know what? And I was talking to some folk, and I said, I think I'm going to go back to school. And they said, for what? At your age? Now you got to understand. I'm 74 years old now.
You were 74 when you went and got your
So
PhD?
I decided. I says, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to get a PhD.
Okay, hold on, pause. You were at age 74
You got it.
and you said, I want to go through the rigorous studies and pursuit, doing the dissertation and all that at
And
74.
and religious studies.
What did your wife say? Where is she at? Let's get on the
She
record.
asked me out. Are you out your rabbit mind? I said, no. But see, the other side of that, I had been an elder in my church for a number of years, the lead deacon. So I said,
Mhm.
I may as well get a little more edification on this stuff I've been doing.
Okay. Okay. He said, let me
A
put some
little more
hyphen in
background.
it.
And
Okay.
so I did. And she said, well, now, does that mean you want to be a preacher? I said, no, I have nowhere around my heart,
Yeah.
but I feel that I need to know more.
Yeah.
And so mine was my focus was more on the admin
Okay.
uh, 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 as well as the religious portion of it. My focus was more on the administrative end.
Okay. So
So
yeah. So
it
you
lent my life's experience lended a lot of support
hmm
to my endeavor at that time. So here I'm 77 going on 78, walking down the aisle, get my degree.
okay. So I mean,
You're
first
never too old was the point.
you're correct. You're
You
I
see,
I wholeheartedly agree. You're never too old. But
you
I have to ask you,
yes,
like, did you want to quit? Did you want to give
yes,
up? Okay.
yes. But in all fairness to the conversation, that wasn't my first time. I had
Mm.
attempted it twice before
Oh, okay.
and dropped out. But I
Mm.
wasn't. I was in. I was in education,
Okay.
higher education,
Okay.
both times, and but I didn't complete it.
Mm.
But then I got the bug about the going into religious studies,
Yeah.
and it sort of rounded it out for me.
Okay.
Um, Education,
Mm.
business, and
Hmm.
now religion.
Yeah.
So I've come full circle.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Um, I love that because you stayed with it, you pursued it, and then of course you were very much successful. So did you throw a graduation party? Did you do all the fanfare? Because that is something to truly celebrate.
No, not really. The kids did something, a little thing for me,
Mhm.
but it was no real. How should I say it? It was more or less a personal thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I said, well, that's done.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I have to admit, it really opened my eyes. I mean, that third eye, whatever you call that thing,
Mhm. Mhm.
it really opened up some other avenues of expression that I
Mhm.
never knew I had before.
Mm.
Everything has its time and its place.
Yes.
You just have to be ready.
Mm.
And most times, there's no warning.
Right.
That's how we miss it
Yeah.
because there's no warning. You can never, ever, ever be 100% ready for something.
Mhm.
It won't happen. If you get 25 to 35%, you're blessed.
Yeah.
This is why when opportunity knocks, most people
Mm.
miss
Mm. Whew.
because they're looking at the end
Mhm.
rather than the preparation to get through it. And
Yeah.
what is the true value? The true value is not the degree, but the process that you had to go through to get it. This is why I always told my students Take your degree and give it to mama.
Yeah.
Tell her to put it on her wall
Yeah.
and thank her for all she's done to assist you to get it. That belongs to her.
Yeah. That's good.
Now, your obligation is to go forth and become abundant.
Yeah.
How? By teaching those who are before you what you know.
Hmm.
You see how the process works?
Absolutely.
That education is not yours to keep,
That's right.
it's
Yeah.
yours to give.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're getting into my head now a little bit about my philosophy of education. I'm
No,
a believer in that.
but I not only do I love that, I mean, as soon as you said it, my mind went right back to scripture
Hmm.
because that's what he God told Moses to tell the children of Israel for them to know and remember that it was he who brought them out, but teach your children my commandments. Teach them, I'm teaching you, teach them so they'll know. Write it upon their tab, like right upon the tablets, right upon their forehead, so when they look in the mirror, they can see it, like for them to understand, that this is all educate. This is in the spiritual realm, we're talking about relationship with God, but it's the same premise when you're talking about education. When you learn about the Lord, you need to tell somebody else. You just don't
Go
hold
tell
it
it.
to yourself.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that's interesting because I work in higher education and I see the people who have amassed the doctorates, the Juris Doctorate, the all these different degrees, right? And how piety, self righteousness, becomes more of a, and pride is a doggy, no matter what, and where people no longer are reaching down or reaching back, I should say, reaching back to help lift,
And
but
lift
they're
that.
now, right, they're putting that, like almost like putting a, not just a ceiling, but trying to put a barrier, a great
Mhm.
chasm between the learned and the unlearned, as if that they weren't once in the unlearned category.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. And well, if you want to stay in line with biblical teaching, why was Christ here? Why do we
Right,
why do we call him the master teacher?
right, right. He taught us well. Yes, he did.
And what did he leave us?
He said, "Go out and make disciples of me. teach, teach and preach and share the good word and cast out devils in my name." Oh my goodness.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Why do we make that difficult to understand? I know, again, you don't have to answer that, but think
Right,
about
but
that.
I don't know.
Something so simple.
Yeah.
Remember what I said about when you get up in the morning, all this crazy stuff is going to be there. It's going to be
Mhm.
there.
Right.
But if you relate to who and what you are and what you represent from the beginning of the day,
Mm. Yeah.
it,
Good.
it's something that we just have to be that determination. I guess
Mhm.
you say that
Yeah.
no matter what, no
Yeah.
matter what, no matter what. So uh, we said we used to have the old saying, "Keep it simple, stupid."
Yes. The good old kiss method. Yes. Yes, I remember that. Yeah. I think that that is so necessary. I mean, what you're saying is just, it helps us. I think it's a great way for us to be refreshed and reminded.
Yes.
Um, I know we were talking earlier before the show started, and we were, sharing about how important it is for us to be grateful for the day that we're in, and grateful for all the sunrises and sunsets that we've been blessed to experience.
Mhm.
And I think what I'm hearing you and what I'm taking from what you're saying is that if we operate in a place of gratitude, number one, then we will approach ourselves, first of all, we'll approach ourselves in a more humble and realistic manner because we know whose we are and who we are.
That's
So
correct.
regardless of the day and what the craziness of the day may bring, as long as we talk to ourselves and before we leave the house, before we get that pep talk. I think it was Cat Williams years ago said you got to talk to your star player, in the mirror. Talk. I think this is something that we have to do so we can reach one and teach one, so we can share and not try to hoard for ourselves.
Two things you said: humbling yourself, and the last thing you said, hoarding.
Yeah.
You see, when we shift like that, we become self-serving.
Mm.
And one of the things that is destruction,
Yeah.
because you can't go any other way but destroy
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
because you don't love yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, if you don't love yourself, to respect that temple,
Mm.
then you go to drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Mm-hmm.
you live the kind of life
Yeah.
that's always threatening to you.
Yeah.
Oh, but look all the money I'm making. Oh, look all the hilarity, the calamity, the celebrated state that I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, if that's the price you want to pay,
Mm.
go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again,
It's good.
and you must understand this. Uh, as you mature, as I am, and you begin to see things come around
Mm-hmm.
for the
Yeah.
second, in some cases, the third time.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing called life is real.
Yes. Yes. Very much so.
This
Yes.
this is reality.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we call that wisdom.
That is true.
When you begin to circle, you get
Yeah.
wisdom.
Yeah. I yes, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Because because we always talk about knowledge is power. I
Yeah.
you know
Oh,
I don't know who started that slogan, but I know it was very popular when I was coming up in school. But I'm starting to I really feel like we need to send an amendment about that. I feel like, or, knowledge is power, but wisdom is peace. Like,
you
you
said
know,
it. You
because
said
I think, when you mention about self serving, people do people because pride in the ego, it's such a part of human condition. We suffer from it daily, regardless of faith perspectives. We all battle with our ego and pride.
well.
But it's something about the word power, like when we're hearing knowledge is power. And so you had people pursuing education so they could be the smartest person in the room, or they could be the most revered person so they can have this prominence, or they can make these powerful decisions. But what you just said is, like, when you said that's wisdom, like, but wisdom brings you peace.
That's it.
And I feel like no one shared how wisdom, like, unless you grew up in a certain, how we grew up, in church and following after Christ. So we understood, if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously, so we understand the need for wisdom. But this system of life that we live in is so based on knowledge and power, but they're missing wisdom and peace.
and understanding that, I always say, somewhere between here and there lies the truth.
Ah,
There's only two sensations in life.
okay.
You know what they are?
You said sensations. I'm like, I don't know. Go and tell me I'm gonna say the wrong thing.
Pain and
Hmm.
pleasure.
Okay, I was good. Yeah, I had one of them.
All right. So, oh, wait a minute, What's his name? Frankie Beverly.
Yes,
Sunshine and
and
rain.
rain.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So, where do you want to be? You
Mm,
every time you fall over here and this pain hits you, you gotta come back.
yeah.
And even when you get over here and get in a glutton state, that's
Hmm.
dangerous also.
Yeah.
So you
Come
gotta
on.
roll back over here. Pain and pleasure.
Yeah.
And that's a barometer
Hmm.
that if we keep it simple enough to understand,
Yes.
then we'll be able to uh, navigate
Yes. Yes.
these troubled waters. Let
Yes.
me share with you something that I often share with the class. And it's time is the element to become wise while developing coping skills. Coping skills. Formula: T plus K equals P. Time plus knowledge equals power.
Mm.
Time plus knowledge equals power.
Mm.
Let me give you a quick definition that I don't know who the author is over the years. I never found out, but I thought it was very meaningful.
Yeah.
And it goes: an educated person can have a limited amount of general or specific knowledge. An educated person has developed the faculties of their own mind that they may acquire what they want or its equivalent
Mm.
without violating the rights of others.
Okay.
An educated person knows how to go and get what they want out of life without being selfish.
Mm.
An educated person has developed resources via networking to sustain their level of success.
Yeah.
Don't ask me where that came from. I don't know. But I ran across it some years ago, and I've always kept it close to me.
That's good. And I think even when you're saying that with educated person, I think so many times we think limitedly that educated, when we're hearing the term someone being educated, that we think academia of
Mm,
books. But when I hear
mm,
you say that, immediately think of my father. My father didn't go to a 4-year university, but you cannot tell me he's not a theologian. You can't tell me he's not a scholar. You cannot tell me he's not a linguist when it comes, certain words he still, I'd be like, Daddy, what you just say? But when it comes down to his vocabulary, his understanding, but he went through the school of hard knocks of life.
and it taught
And
it.
and it taught him, and God has blessed my father almost 72 years of life. God has blessed my father to have wisdom, and so him being when I think about educated, I think about my mom, I think about so many of my mentors in my life. That if we start to excuse me, limit education to just be what we find in the halls of a college or university,
Or in a book.
or in a book, we have missed it completely.
You see, what is one of the greatest books ever written? The Bible.
Bible, easy, hands down, bestseller.
See what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
can read it from the front to the back.
Hmm.
But if it has no life application to you,
Come on, you just read the book. That's it. Yeah.
The book didn't lie.
Yeah.
The book gave you the truth.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of that balance again.
Yeah.
And I've always asked, now that you know, what are you going to do with it?
Mm.
It's
Mm.
not just enough to know. But now that you know that you know that you know that you know,
Mm-hmm.
what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, right. That's good. Whew, it's good. You know what? I first of all, I knew our conversation was going to go like this. I knew. And Dr. Bridges, I just want to
Mhm.
let you know, not only do you always have a seat here at Be Healed Web Show, but I would love to have you back. I run a series twice a year called The Power of Vulnerability. And but I really want to always just have you back just for you can come and bring some jewels and some pearls like you've been dropping today, this evening show, just by sharing from your life experience, sharing your knowledge, sharing, because this is what educated folks do. They're not selfish, they're not hoarding information to themselves, they're not sitting in what some would say, you know, this ivory tower of their own being and looking down at the world. You're relatable, you're accessible, and you're concerned about others. Your mentorship goes beyond the students that you've encountered, goes beyond the faculty that you faithfully taught and mentored in their programs. The fact that you're a mentor to so many, I'm looking in the comments how so many folks are enjoying listening to the conversation on tonight, and I just want to say thank you about just from the bottom of my heart, just in general. This is not even a closeout portion. Just I just want to stop and tell you thank you.
Well, no,
Um,
I'm so honored that you thought enough of us to present us in this way. Um,
Absolutely.
and this is what we're saying. This is what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have created a medium that could be shared
Yes.
of yourself and others who it is not for us to know. That's the other side. That's what I learned in teaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for you to know. It's
Yeah.
not in your hands. It's in the divine Father's hand,
Yeah.
whose heart will be pricked.
Yes.
But he said, go forth and become abundant.
That's right.
So either we're going to practice that
Mm-hmm.
or we're just going to go the other way and make for our own demise.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
true.
it is so critical that we understand that. Before we sign off, I want to leave you with a recipe for
Yeah.
education.
Absolutely.
Take a cup of thinking, 2 cups of dreams, some 4 to 8 years of youth, depending on how strong, 3.5 cups of persistence,
Mm.
3 teaspoons of ability, 1 cup of cooperation, a teaspoon of borrowing, 1 cup of good books and lectures and teachers, 1 cup of health, and 1 cup of plans to make and follow through.
Mm.
Cream the thinking and dreams. Add the years and beat until creamy. Swift persistence, or shift, excuse me, persistence and ability together, and add the with corporation the first mixture.
Mm.
Add borrowing, books, lectures, teachers, health, and plans.
Mm.
Fold in the years of youth, beaten stiff. Bake a moderately good college or university, including the time in college, 4 or more years, depending on how you like your character. Temperature, plenty hot. Serving will last for a lifetime.
I love it. Yes. Yes, that is the recipe of education, and often very much so the recipe of life. It's, one of the things I hear, and it's always comes to me in this manner. Not only do we have to always understand that time is going to time, because that's what time is going to do.
Yes.
Everything takes time. I always hear that passage, I believe it's in Genesis, as it related to Abraham and Sarah having Isaac through the process of time.
Yes.
That sticks with me.
Yes.
Um, I just shared in Bible study last night out of the book of Joel, chapter 2, and how he will restore unto us the years. Because he's in charge of time, he can redeem the time for us. He can give us more time.
Yeah.
Just as you prayed and asked God to bless you with time for you to see your grandchild to be born, God has given you more time, not only just to see one grandchild, but four grandchildren.
The C4.
Man, God is so faithful. And then when you mention about, the heat of life, it's going, it's going to get hot in here. you know, it's it happens. It's
Right.
going to take place.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But when oh God, I get so excited thinking about that. But when you get out of when you take it out, right? When it's time to be presented to the Lord on that great day and we end our life, and He says, "Well done,"
Well done.
that it pays for it all.
In short order, if we don't learn how to live on this side of
Yeah,
the River Jordan,
yeah, yeah. We gonna heaven don't have no party poopers over there, so we got to get together. Oh, I love this so much. Such great dialogue, Jerry. So glad that you're able to tune in on tonight. Mama too, I see you, Mama too. She's one of my. I adopted her. She never had daughters
oh,
until she had me.
ah,
She was able to. She came to our church about 9 years ago, and since the moment I met her, I was like, oh, like I love her. Her and another woman. I call her Mama Patricia, also never had daughters of her own either, and
uh-huh.
I've adopted them as my surrogate moms. And so I thank God that my mother, who's also on the line tonight, she don't get jealous or nothing. She be like, she probably be like, please, I need all the help I can. So, but Mama Dolores said, Mama Two said, like those who have been redeemed, we are to share the gospel, not just keep what God has done, our
Yes,
testimony to ourselves, but share that message. And that is what I am committed to doing.
and you're
Um,
doing it.
I,
Continue.
I really am, because there's grace in every story. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Yes, it
And
is.
so I'm grateful for my village. I'm grateful to have you in community and in fellowship. Listen, I just want to let you know, you get to pick. You want to be Uncle Ernest? You want to be Papa Bridges? Which you get to pick.
Well, I tell you, affectionately, my Umoja community called me Bubba.
Bubba? Okay. Well, listen.
Bubba is an African term that is used for one who is held in a position of respect.
Absolutely. Well,
You don't get that title unless you earn it.
and I know you have earned it. Because this conversation alone, I'm like, listen, Bubba, thank you for stopping on by. Thank you. Just some of the jewels that I wrote down, fortified from within. That I know about that personally.
Mm.
Getting fortified from within. That and
Mhm.
how I'm immensely grateful to God for that process. And for the listener who might not know what being fortified from within, I know so many, we're in a life, in a time where people gravitate to so many things. And I'm not going to tell you what you're doing is wrong, but I will tell you, if you still feel unfulfilled, I know a man who will heal, save, and deliver and make you whole. And his name is Jesus Christ. And if you want to be truly fortified from within, it starts with him. Have you talked to yourself today? As Bubba has shared with us on tonight, Make sure before you go to bed tonight and when you rise in the morning, make sure you have some good conversation, get thoughts coming to your mind, because we have to remember to be basic. Life is complicated enough without you messing with it. And understand that there's choices that we have to make. And everything has a time and a place. So you must be ready. You don't want to miss when opportunity knocks. And understanding that time plus knowledge equals power. But we also know that wisdom gives us peace. And with that being said, he gave us the recipe for education. Y'all can tune in. I'll make sure to share that on my social medias. And I appreciate you so much. I get to hang out with Bubba for a little bit, y'all, but we're going to sign off now. For those that are tuning in, y'all already know what time it is when it comes to these announcements. The beat, Bubba, I don't know if you know, but tell Mrs. Bubba, tell Baba, I would guess she'll be Baba. Tell her we doing a women's retreat over in Brea, not too far from the house.
See that?
All
See
right.
that?
And
Yeah.
would love to have her come. Be Healed Women's Conference is happening August 22nd through the 25th. And I'm just believing God that not only is he going to do what he has already said he's going to do, but I believe he's going to even do more than what we can ever ask, think, or imagine, because that's who he is. So make sure you register there. If you want to be a part of the Be Healed Web Show, all you got to do is just email me, behealedwebshow@gmail.com. Share your story. Facebook, Instagram, text message if you have my number, whatever it might be. Just get a hold of me and we'll have you on. I get to hang out with Bubba. You all have a wonderful and blessed night. Thank you all for tuning in. May God bless you. May God keep you is our prayer. And we'll see you next week. Hang on for just a second. See you all.